Jin stared at his computer screen in confusion. After working for 15 years in the Galactic Database Administration, this was the first time he had seen such a strange alert. The small blue planet, third from its sun, had somehow triggered the highest threat level classification in the system. This must be a mistake, he said to himself, adjusting his uniform's collar. The office around him was quiet except for the soft hum of computers and the occasional beep from the coffee machine. He checked the planet's basic information again. Earth, as the locals called it, was just a regular Class C civilization. They had only recently discovered basic space travel and hadn't even colonized their own moon properly. How could such a planet trigger a critical threat warning? Jin called his colleague, Jai-yun, who worked in the analysis department. Jai-yun, could you come to my office? I have something unusual to show you. 5 minutes later, Jai-yun walked in, holding her tablet. She was known for solving the most complex classification problems in the department. What's so urgent that you interrupted my lunch break? She asked, but smiled to show she wasn't really upset. Jin pointed at his screen. Look at this. Earth was marked as pre-FTL yesterday. Today, the system automatically changed it to critical threat. Do not approach. This happened right after our first contact team sent their initial report. Jai-yun's eyes widened. She pulled up a chair and started typing on her tablet. Let me access the first contact report, she said. After a few moments, she let out a small gasp. Jin, this is not a system error. The classification is correct. She turned her tablet to show him the report. The first contact team had followed standard procedure. They had landed in an uninhabited area and tested the planet's conditions. The results were shocking. The gravity on this planet is 2.5 times stronger than our comfortable range. Jai-yun read aloud. The atmosphere contains highly corrosive oxygen at 21%. The temperature variations are extreme. And yet, she paused for effect. The locals don't just survive there. They thrive. Jin felt a chill run down his spine. That's impossible. No known species can survive such conditions. There's more, Jai-yun continued. The team observed their daily activities. These humans regularly drink poison for enjoyment. They call it coffee and alcohol. They expose themselves to radiation from their sun deliberately, calling it tanning. They exercise by repeatedly lifting heavy objects for no practical purpose. Jin leaned back in his chair, trying to process this information. So the system classified them as a threat because they're naturally too powerful. Exactly, Jai-yun nodded. According to the first contact team's calculations, the average human could accidentally kill most galactic species just by trying to give them a friendly pat on the back. Their idea of a gentle touch could crush the bones of a standard galactic citizen. Jin looked at the final notes from the first contact team. The last line read, "Request immediate classification update. These humans don't know their own strength. They are like children with the power of giants, living on a death world that would kill most species within minutes. We need to inform the committee," Jin said, already drafting an urgent message. This changes everything about how we approach Earth. Jai-yun was still reading the report. Listen to this. They heal from injuries by growing new flesh. They regularly stay conscious for more than 16 hours at a time, and they can chase their prey until it dies of exhaustion. The first contact team literally ran away when they saw a human running for exercise. No wonder the system classified them as, "Don't even think about it," Jin muttered. He looked at the image of Earth spinning peacefully on his screen. Such a beautiful planet, home to beings that could survive conditions that would kill most galactic species instantly. "What do we do now?" he asked. Jai-yun stood up, straightening her uniform. "We call an emergency meeting. The committee needs to know that we've just discovered a planet of super beings who think they're normal. And the most worrying part." She paused at the door. "They're about to develop faster than light travel. We have maybe 10 years before they join the galactic community." He-Jin nodded, already dreading the mountain of paperwork this would create. Sometimes he wished he had chosen a simpler career like sun farming or asteroid herding. But now he had to help figure out how to deal with a species that could probably bench press a small spacecraft without breaking a sweat. Ambassador Do-hyun reviewed his notes one final time aboard the diplomatic vessel Peaceful Dawn. As the leader of the first official contact mission to Earth, he had studied their protocols carefully. Everything had to be perfect. "Sir, we're approaching the designated landing zone," his pilot reported. "The humans have cleared the area as requested." Do-hyun nodded, trying to stay calm. The preliminary reports from the observation team had been concerning, but surely they were exaggerated. No species could be that naturally dangerous. The ship landed smoothly in a large open field. Through the viewport, Do-hyun could see the human delegation waiting at the safe distance they had specified. He put on his protective suit, which would help him deal with Earth's harsh environment. "Remember," he told his team, "move slowly and carefully. Earth's gravity is much stronger than what we're used to." They walked down the ship's ramp, and immediately, Do-hyun felt the planet's tremendous gravitational pull. Even with his suit's assistance, each step required effort. How did humans live like this every day? The human delegation started walking toward them. Do-hyun noticed they moved with disturbing ease, as if the crushing gravity meant nothing to them. The lead human, a diplomatic representative, approached with what they probably thought was a gentle smile. "Welcome to Earth," the human said, extending a hand in their traditional greeting gesture. Do-hyun had studied this. He reached out, terrified of the infamous human handshake. Even with his suit's strength enhancers, the human's light grip felt like being caught in a mechanical press. "Thank you for having us," Do-hyun managed to say, hiding his discomfort. "We bring greetings from the galactic community." What happened next would change galactic policy forever. A small flying creature, what humans called a bee, flew near the delegation. One of Do-hyun's junior diplomats, startled by the creature, stumbled slightly. Without thinking, the nearest human reached out to steady him. The human's helpful gesture, though gentle by their standards, sent the junior diplomat flying 3 meters backward. The protective suit, designed to withstand extreme conditions, cracked under the human's casual touch. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," the human exclaimed, rushing forward to help. "Stay back," Do-hyun shouted, breaking all diplomatic protocol. "Please, maintain distance." The humans froze, looking confused and concerned. They didn't understand that their attempt to help could have killed someone. Do-hyun's team quickly retrieved their injured colleague, who fortunately had only suffered minor bruises thanks to the suit taking most of the impact. "We mean no offense," Do-hyun explained carefully. "But your species is much stronger than most galactic citizens. What feels like a gentle touch to you could seriously harm others." The human delegation looked shocked. Their leader spoke up. "We had no idea. We thought our gravity and atmosphere were normal." "Normal?" Do-hyun's scientific officer whispered in horror. "They think this death world is normal." The meeting continued, but now everyone understood the serious implications. The humans learned they could accidentally crush most alien species. The galactic delegation discovered that humans regularly engaged in activities that would be considered extreme survival challenges on other worlds. "You mean you sleep for 8 hours every day?" one human asked, amazed. "We thought all species did that." "You can regrow damaged bones," another diplomat asked, equally shocked. "And you consider this normal?" By the end of the meeting, Do-hyun had made his decision. His report to the Galactic Council would be clear. Earth needed a special classification. Not because humans were hostile. They were actually quite friendly. But because everything about them was terrifying. Back on his ship, Do-hyun recorded his final notes. "The humans are kind, curious, and eager to join the galactic community. They are also completely unaware that they are essentially a species of superbeings. They must be educated about their relative strength before they accidentally harm someone while trying to be friendly." Recommended classification: Extreme caution. Handle with care. He added a personal note. And whatever you do, don't let them get excited. When they're happy, they like to hug. Research specialist Yuna sat in her office, surrounded by holographic displays showing various incidents involving humans. After the first official contact, she had been assigned to compile a comprehensive report about human capabilities. Each new piece of information made her more amazed and concerned. She began recording her findings. Research log, Day 15 of Human Capability Assessment. The more we learn about humans, the more extraordinary they appear. She pulled up the first incident report. It described a human maintenance worker who had saved 3 aliens from a broken elevator by simply pulling the doors open with their hands. The human had thought nothing of it, not realizing they had bent solid metal that would normally require heavy machinery to move. The most concerning aspect, Yuna noted, is that humans don't understand their own strength. They think everyone can do what they do. She moved to the next report. This one came from a space station, where a human chef had caused panic by cooking with open flames. The humans had to be carefully informed that most species considered fire to be an extreme hazard, not a cooking tool. Her computer beeped with a new incident report. Yuna opened it and immediately sat up straighter. A human student at the Galactic University had just won an endurance race without realizing it was supposed to be impossible. The human had simply kept running until they reached the finish line, while their alien competitors had all needed rest breaks. They don't even get tired like normal species, she muttered, adding this to her growing list. The next document made her pause. It showed a human child playing with what they called a pet cat. The video clearly showed the small human handling a predator species that would be considered dangerous on most worlds. Even more shocking, the humans kept these creatures in their homes. Yuna compiled a list of standard human behaviors that qualified as extreme by galactic standards. They drank hot liquids for pleasure. They stayed awake for over 16 hours at a time. They could bite through solid food with their teeth. They exercised by choice, making their bodies even stronger. They could survive losing significant amounts of blood. They healed from broken bones naturally. Her research was interrupted by an urgent call. A human delegation had arrived at the Central Science Building, and they needed her expertise immediately. When she arrived at the scene, she found a group of confused humans surrounded by concerned security officers. What happened? She asked the head of security. The humans wanted to take the stairs instead of the elevator, he explained, looking disturbed. 20 floors up. They said they wanted some exercise. Yuna turned to the humans. You do understand that climbing 20 floors in this gravity would kill most species. The humans looked surprised. But it's just stairs, one of them said. We do this all the time. Yuna added another note to her report. Humans consider potentially lethal activities as normal daily exercise. Later that evening, as she finished her documentation, Yuna reached a conclusion. Her final report would recommend creating an entirely new classification system just for humans. They weren't dangerous because they wanted to be. They were dangerous because their normal was everyone else's impossible. She added one final note. Warning. Humans express happiness through physical contact called hugs and high fives. Under no circumstances should other species agree to these without proper safety equipment. What humans considered gentle could break bones. Yuna sent her report to the Galactic Council, knowing it would cause quite a stir. As she prepared to leave her office, she noticed one last incident report. A human had accidentally won a strength competition by helping to move furniture during their lunch break. She sighed and added it to tomorrow's work. At this rate, she would never run out of human incidents to document. Security Director Minho stood before the Galactic Special Committee in the Grand Meeting Chamber. The room's circular design allowed all 200 representatives to see the central presentation area clearly. Today's topic had brought together the largest gathering of species in recent memory. Distinguished representatives, Minho began, we are here to discuss the classification of Earth and its inhabitants. Data analyst Sunmai will present our findings. Sunma stepped forward, her uniform crisp and neat. The lights dimmed as she activated the holographic display. An image of Earth appeared, spinning slowly in the air. This planet, which humans call Earth, presents unique challenges, she said. Our standard classification system is not equipped to handle their case. A representative from the crystal worlds raised a luminescent appendage. Why can't we simply classify them as a dangerous species? Sun Le changed the display to show a human helping an injured alien child. Because they are not dangerous by choice. They are helpful, friendly, and eager to join our community. The problem is their natural abilities. She played a video of a human construction worker lifting a metal beam that would normally require mechanical assistance. The committee members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. This human thought they were performing a simple task. Sun Mai explained. They don't understand that such strength is unusual. Minho stepped forward again. We've had 300 documented incidents in the past month alone. All of them were accidents caused by humans trying to help. The display showed several examples. A human saving people from a fire without protection gear, a human student winning every sports competition without trotting, and a human doctor accidentally breaking medical equipment because it was too flimsy. A representative from the gas giants spoke up, their voice coming through the translator. What about restricting them to their planet? That would be unwise, Minho replied. Humans are about to develop faster than light travel. They've already started exploring their solar system despite the extreme conditions that would kill most species. Sun Mai added another piece of data to the display. They walk around in temperatures that would freeze or burn most species. They think nothing of it. They call it weather. The committee chamber filled with concerned murmurs. A representative from the ocean worlds raised a fin. How do they view us? Minho smiled slightly. They think we are the remarkable ones. They are amazed that we can float in low gravity or breathe different atmospheres. They don't realize that their world is a death trap by our standards. Yesterday, Sunmei continued, a human diplomat apologized for being tired after working for only 20 hours straight. They didn't understand why their alien colleagues were horrified. The committee spent hours reviewing more evidence. They watched humans perform what they considered normal tasks, eating solid food, exercising in high gravity, and healing from injuries that would be fatal to other species. Finally, Minho made his recommendation. We cannot treat Earth like other worlds. We need a new classification. Endemic superbeings. Handle with care. We must establish special protocols for human interaction. The committee voted. The decision was unanimous. Earth would receive its unique classification, and all species would be warned. Humans are not dangerous, but their help might accidentally kill you. As the meeting ended, Minho received an urgent message. A human tourist had just rescued an alien from a burning building by punching through a wall. He sighed. The incident reports never stopped coming. Add it to tomorrow's agenda, he told Sunmei, and mark it as another example of humans being helpful in terrifying ways. Xenobiologist Kita walked through the newly renovated Galactic Central Station, making notes on his tablet. The entire station had been modified to accommodate human visitors, and the changes were fascinating. The standard glass walls had been replaced with reinforced materials after a human had accidentally cracked one by leaning against it. Signs in multiple languages now included special warnings for humans. Please watch your strength, and gentle touch only. Keita stopped at the station's medical center, where Dr. Nadung was treating patients. She had become the leading expert in human medical care, though her first experience with a human patient had left her stunned. I'll never forget my first human case, Nayoung told Kita as they reviewed her records. A human came in with what they called a small cut. They were bleeding actual red blood, and they just walked in like it was nothing. When I panicked, they laughed and said it would heal on its own in a few days. Keita noted how the medical center now had separate equipment for humans. The regular medical beds would collapse under human weight, and standard pain medication had no effect on them. The most interesting thing, Nayum continued, is how humans react to injuries. They keep moving even when hurt. Yesterday, a human with a broken arm helped carry supplies because, in their words, it was just a small fracture. Kaita moved on to the station's dining area, which had been completely redesigned. A special section now catered to humans, with warnings about temperature clearly posted. He watched as a human casually picked up a cup of hot liquid that would severely burn most species. The station's gym had required the most changes. The human section had equipment made from materials usually used in starship construction. Regular exercise equipment would break under what humans considered normal use. They lift heavy weights for fun, the gym supervisor explained to Kita. We had to put up signs asking them not to help other species with their exercises. Last week, a helpful human nearly launched someone across the room trying to spot them. Even the station's environmental controls have been modified. What humans considered a comfortable temperature range would kill some species, so special climate control areas have been created throughout the station. Kaita visited the station's school, where young humans were being taught alongside alien children. The playground had been divided into different gravity zones after incidents of human children accidentally throwing balls through walls. The teacher, Bora, shared her experiences. Human children are incredibly resilient. They fall down, get up, and keep playing. The first time it happened, all the other species' parents were terrified, but the human child just laughed. In the station's shopping district, Kita noticed special reinforced chairs and tables in cafes. Regular furniture would break under human weight. Even the doors had been modified after several humans had accidentally pulled them off their hinges. As he finished his inspection, Kita received an alert about a new incident. A human maintenance worker had fixed a broken pipe by bending it back into shape with their bare hands. The worker couldn't understand why everyone was making such a fuss about what they considered a simple repair. Back in his office, Kita wrote his final report. The presence of humans has fundamentally changed how we design and operate our facilities. Everything must be stronger, more durable, and carefully labeled. Yet despite all these precautions, humans continue to surprise us with their capabilities. He added a personal observation. The most remarkable thing about humans is not their strength or endurance. It's their complete lack of awareness that they are, by our standards, practically invincible. They view themselves as normal, and that makes them both endearing and terrifying. Senior diplomat Taiwan rubbed his temples as he read the urgent report. The newly established human trade station, Harmony Point, had experienced what humans called a minor maintenance issue. Unfortunately, what humans considered minor had caused a major diplomatic incident. Captain Jeho of the human maintenance crew stood before him, looking confused about why everyone was so upset. We just fixed a few problems in the life support systems, she explained. Standard maintenance work. Taiwan looked at the report again. The human maintenance team had noticed some inefficiencies in the station's air filtration system. Instead of filing the proper paperwork and waiting for approval, they had simply fixed it themselves. The way they fixed it had terrified every non-human on the station. Captain Jeho, Taiwan said carefully, your team removed and replaced air filtration units weighing over 200 kilograms without using any lifting equipment. You then manually adjusted metal panels that are supposed to require specialized tools. Finally, you worked in an area that was heated to temperatures that would cook most species. Jeho shrugged. The system needed fixing. It would have taken days to get the equipment up there, and people needed clean air. It wasn't that hot, maybe only 40 degrees Celsius. Taiwan tried to stay calm. Your team's actions, while helpful, caused panic among the station's residents. They saw humans carrying massive machinery with their bare hands and working in what they consider lethal conditions. But we wore safety glasses, Jeho said, still not understanding the problem. And we were careful not to break anything. The situation got more complicated when Taiwan received another message. The human maintenance team had also fixed the station's gravity controls by manually adjusting the plates that most species needed specialized robots to move. The gravity was slightly off in Section C, Jaiho explained. We could feel it was about 0.2% too strong, so we tweaked it a bit. Taiwan stared at her. The humans had detected a gravity variation so small that even the station's instruments barely registered it. Then they had fixed it using their bare hands. The station's alien residents had already filed several hundred complaints. Many were requesting transfers to stations without human maintenance crews. They didn't feel safe in a place where beings could casually move machinery that should require heavy equipment. Captain, Taiwan said, we need to establish new protocols. Your team can't just fix things because they see a problem. The sight of humans performing what you consider simple maintenance is terrifying to other species. Jaiho nodded slowly, finally understanding. So when we see something wrong, we should file a report. Taiwan finished. Let the station handle it through proper channels. No more impromptu displays of human capabilities. As if the situation wasn't complicated enough, Taiwan's computer chimed with another alert. A human child in the station school had accidentally won the whole science fair by building what they called a simple robot, using spare parts they had found. The child had manually bent metal parts into shape, causing several teachers to faint. Taiwan scheduled an emergency meeting with the station's education board. They needed to create separate competition categories for humans. It wasn't fair to other species when humans could casually perform tasks that others considered impossible. I understand now, Jaiho said as she left his office. We'll try to be more normal. Taiwan sighed. That was the problem. For humans, lifting enormous weights and working in lethal temperatures was normal. How do you ask a species to be less capable when they don't even realize how extraordinary they are? Database Administrator He Jin returned to the Central Classification Bureau with a thick folder of reports. After 3 months of documenting human activities across various space stations, the debate about Earth's final classification had reached a critical point. Cultural attaché Aira stood at the front of the conference room, presenting her findings to the classification board. The room was filled with the most experienced administrators in the galaxy, all gathered to make a decision about Earth's status. We cannot simply label Earth as a danger zone, Aira explained, displaying holographic data charts. The humans have proven themselves to be valuable allies, even if they occasionally cause unintentional problems. He Jin nodded in agreement. He had spent weeks organizing incident reports, and a clear pattern had emerged. Every concerning incident involving humans had started with them, trying to help others. Consider the mining colony incident, Aira continued. When the main support beam cracked, a human mining engineer held up the ceiling for 6 hours until everyone could evacuate. They called it just doing their job. The board members reviewed the footage. The human had supported several tons of weight while encouraging others to remain calm, not realizing that such strength was extraordinary. But what about the safety concerns? Asked one board member. Last week, a human ambassador accidentally broke a ceremonial staff that was supposed to be unbreakable according to our strength standards. He Jin stepped forward with his data. We've analyzed every incident. 87% of all human-related accidents occurred because they were trying to assist others. The remaining 13% were mostly misunderstandings about what humans consider normal activities. Aira displayed a new set of statistics. Human presence has actually improved safety records at several stations. Their ability to work in dangerous conditions and respond to emergencies has saved countless lives. The debate continued as they discussed various incidents. A human medical student had carried an injured alien to the hospital when the gravity transporters failed. A human chef had prevented an explosion by simply reaching into a hot oven to remove a malfunctioning device. A human child had stopped a runaway cargo cart by catching it with their bare hands. The problem isn't that humans are dangerous, He Jin explained. It's that we haven't properly integrated their capabilities into our society. We're trying to make them follow protocols designed for much less resilient species. Era presented her final recommendation. Instead of warning everyone to avoid Earth, we should create a new classification. Enhanced Capability Zone. Special protocols required. This would acknowledge human abilities while emphasizing the need for proper safety measures. The board discussed the suggestion. They reviewed footage of humans performing various tasks: lifting heavy objects, working in extreme temperatures, surviving conditions that would kill most species, and healing from serious injuries in days instead of months. Perhaps, one board member suggested, we should classify Earth as a high-resilience zone and provide special training for species who wish to interact with humans. He-Jin shared his own experiences. In my time documenting human activities, I've learned that they genuinely want to be part of our community. They're willing to learn and adapt their behavior. They just need to understand why certain precautions are necessary. As the debate neared its conclusion, a message arrived from a human space station. A group of human engineers had just completed repairs on a satellite by working in open space for hours, using only basic protection suits. The board members watched in amazement as the humans casually performed tasks that most species would consider impossible. This is exactly my point, Era said. We can't ignore their capabilities, but we also can't treat them as a threat. We need a classification that recognizes both their extraordinary abilities and their genuine desire to be part of our community. 1 year after the first official contact with Earth, He-Jin and Jia-Yun stood in the newly constructed Human Relations Department of the Galactic Central Administration. The walls displayed holographic signs showing Earth's new official classification: exceptional status, approach with informed caution. It's hard to believe how far we've come, Jia-Yun said, reviewing the latest reports on her tablet. The new protocols for human interaction had proven successful, with incident rates dropping by 80% in the past 3 months. He-Jin nodded, remembering how it all started with a simple database alert. The humans have adapted well to our safety requirements, he said, though they still sometimes forget their own strength. The department now included special training facilities where humans could learn to interact safely with other species. In one room, human diplomats practiced what they called ultra-gentle handshakes, using special sensors that measured their grip strength. Junior Ambassador Su-Min entered the office, returning from her latest diplomatic mission. She had become famous for successfully bridging the gap between humans and other species. Her approach was simple. She helped both sides understand each other's capabilities and limitations. The new exchange program is working perfectly, Su-Min reported. We've started teaching other species about Earth's conditions using virtual reality. When they experience a simulation of Earth's gravity and atmosphere, they finally understand why humans are so resilient. The latest statistics appeared on the main screen. Human integration into galactic society had brought unexpected benefits. Space stations with human crew members reported faster emergency response times. Scientific research advanced more quickly with humans able to handle dangerous materials safely. Even galactic sports had evolved, with new categories created to account for human capabilities. Remember when we thought they were a threat? Jia-Yun asked, laughing softly. Now every station wants at least one human on their emergency response team. He-Jin pulled up the new galactic database entry for Earth. The warning, "Don't even think about it," had been replaced with a more detailed description. Home to naturally enhanced beings with extraordinary physical capabilities. Approach with proper preparation and training. Inhabitants are friendly but require special safety protocols. Su-Min shared footage from her recent diplomatic meeting. The humans had hosted representatives from various species, carefully demonstrating their daily activities. The aliens watched in amazement as humans explained their normal routines, from their need for regular sleep to their ability to eat solid food. The best part, Su-Min said, is that humans are just as fascinated by other species. They think it's amazing that some races can naturally float or change colors. They don't see themselves as superior, just different. A message arrived from the Human Safety Training Center. A group of human teenagers had just completed their first interspecies interaction course. They had learned to be gentle when handling objects, to move slowly around other species, and to warn others before performing any typically human activities. They're calling it the Friendly Giant Training, Jayun said with a smile. The humans think it's cute. Jin finished updating the official records. Earth's classification now included a special note. Warning: inhabitants possess extraordinary physical capabilities, but also demonstrate exceptional adaptability and willingness to accommodate other species. Proper training required for all interactions. As they prepared to end another successful day, an alert came in from a space station. A human child had prevented an accident by catching a falling piece of equipment. Instead of panic, the other species had applauded. They knew the human was just being helpful, and now they had protocols to handle such situations. Perhaps, Jin said, closing his terminal, we didn't need to tell people, don't even think about it. We just needed to help everyone understand each other better. Su Min nodded in agreement. After all, humans aren't dangerous. They're just built for a world that would kill most of us, and they're doing their best to be careful with their strength.